All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Greater Miami Expressway Agency October 2025 board meeting. I would like to call our meeting to order at 9 a.m. I ask Board Member Iglesias to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I ask our Corporate Board Secretary to conduct a roll call of board members.
Yes, good morning. Board Member Blanco,
Present.
Board Member Iglesias,
Present.
Board Member Peterman,
Present.
Board Member Rigo,
Present.
Treasurer Cancio, Vice Chair Pages,
Present.
Chair Perez.
Present. I would like to set the agenda. Agenda has been distributed to all board members. Are there any requested corrections or additions to the agenda? None. Next, we have the declaration of voting conflicts. Board members, at this time, please advise if you have any conflicts based on the items on the consent or regular agenda.
I have a voting conflict on item 8D,
Okay.
which is RFQ 2508.
Right. You've already filled out, you're filling out, okay. We'll move on now to our public comment period. If any member of the public wishes to address the board, you'll be given 3 minutes to speak. I will now recognize our executive director to identify those members of the public who have signed up to speak. Mr. Garcia, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We do have one public speaker, Mr. David Weston. Mr. Weston, you have 3 minutes.
And I have some good news. I've made some progress, and I want to report that progress. I met with your executive director and 2 of his staff members, and they agreed, if I understand, in principle, that this is a good idea. But they want to defer to DOT. I was nice enough, Rafael was set me up with Javier Rodriguez, who I had a meeting with last week at the Department of Transportation. And he provided a path to and an agreement that we need fresher messages. It's not reruns on I Love Lucy all over again. That gets stale. So we want to have some creative messages. And I gave everybody a copy, just for your interest, of something that Juan Toledo and I worked on in November of 2022. For the audience, it says, "Camp in Florida State Parks, not in the left lane." Now, this is a clever, creative message. It's approved by DOT, Rafael. It's a creative message, and it helps with driver improvement. So that's what my mission is. It costs us nothing to do. It's free. We have the boards there. They're waiting for creative driver improvement messages. Y también yo quiero mensajes en español for the audience. I would like to see some messages in Spanish, and that's what I'm working on. And I hope that I'll have your support because at DOT they said 1 commission member actually contacted them in support of this. So 2 would be better, 3 would be great, 4 would be perfect, 5 would be wonderful. So if you support this idea of getting creative messages on these electronic boards, then let DOT know. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Weston.
My 3 minutes are up.
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted. Thank you
Good
for
witty
your
comments. Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the meeting minutes from our prior board meeting in August and our special board meeting in September. Board members, have you had the opportunity to review the minutes from these 2 meetings?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any discussion or is there a motion for
I make-
approval of the meeting?
I make a motion to approve
August
the board meetings
14th.
of August 14th and September 15th,
Second.
2025.
Any final discussion? All in favor of approval of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. We did the September. Okay, we'll now move on to item 7. Consent agenda. Our general counsel shall read the consent agenda items into the record.
Madam Chair, the consent agenda includes 2 travel approvals, ratifications. First, travel for Executive Director Garcia, who attended the Florida Transportation Commission meeting in Auburndale, Florida, August 21 to 22 of 2025, and also approval of travel for Executive Director Garcia, who attended the IBTTA annual meeting in Denver, October 12 to 14 of 2025. Next, approval of the Executive Director's employment agreement, which you all have a copy of. And finally, approval of the 2026 Governing Board meeting dates.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any final discussion?
There is one more item on the consent agenda, which is the proposed meetings for 2026.
So we amend the motion to include the 2026 governing board meeting dates.
On the second
I
page.
think he said it.
believe
Yeah, I, ha-
He said it.
I didn't mess it up this time. Last time I did. But
He said it. He said it.
Sorry.
So all in favor of approval of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. We will now proceed to the regular agenda. I recognize our executive director to introduce item A in today's regular agenda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item A on today's agenda relates to GMX procurement contract number RFP 25-03, design build services for State Road 836, State Road 874, and State Road 924 dynamic message sign installation. The item is presented to the board for approval of the Technical Evaluation Committee's recommendation to select and enter into a contract with the highest ranked proposer, CSA Inc. On June 13th of 2025, GMX released a request for proposals from qualified firms to provide design build services for State Route 836, 874, and 924 for dynamic message sign installation. The scope of the work includes the design and installation of new dynamic message signs on these 3 corridors. And I will ask our Chief Operating Officer, Claudio Diaferia, to provide additional background for the board.
Good morning, board members. So yes, this is the design build services for the installation of arterial DMSs, and it also includes 2 signs on the western end of 836, which are old kind of monochrome signs that are out of warranty and can't get parts of anymore. So this includes all the coordination efforts that's going to be required with FDOT, because most of these signs are going to be installed outside of the highway system, and it's to alert drivers when they're entering the system, whether there's congestion, an accident, traffic, wrong way driver, etc. So all these will be tied back to our traffic management center and will be managed similarly to all the other signs on the system.
Are there any questions on the item? I had a question. This is a company that we've never done.
Correct. Well, they actually have one other one right before this, which was the catwalk. But yes, this is a new face. There was 4 proposers in this selection. There was Horsepower Electric, Artec Engineering, Transcore, and CICE. CICE is a Spanish company. It's an international company. They've done plenty of work with the Turnpike. They've done some work with D6 up in District 4. So they're a very well respected company. So we're happy to see a new face come
same.
join GMX.
Thank you.
And also this price, $6,137,000, was that around the ballpark that we expected?
So the engineer's estimate was actually 8 million, just over 8 million. So this proposal is 23.4% below. We did go back to them and confirm that they are willing and able to do the work for the money that they had put into the bid, into the unit costs. And we think they can. There's obviously some efficiencies that can have. So we're comfortable with moving forward the selection.
I just wanted to bring that point to the attention and congratulate the team for really negotiating a very favorable contract for the agency.
Sure. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there a second? Any final discussions? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion passes. Mr. Garcia, please introduce item B on a regular agenda.
Madam Chair, item B on our agenda today is GMX procurement contract number RFQ 25-07, construction engineering and inspection services for State Road 836, 874, and 924 dynamic message sign installation. This matter is actually related to item A as well. We are requesting the board's approval of the Technical Evaluation Committee's recommendation to select and enter into a contract with the highest ranked proposer, American Engineering Group, Inc. On May 23rd, 2025, GMX released a request for qualifications seeking proposals from qualified firms to provide CEI services for dynamic message sign installation on these 3 corridors. 2 proposals were received in response to this RFQ, and I would again ask Mr. Diaferia to provide additional background information for the board.
So yeah, this is tied to the agenda item A. So this is for the Construction Engineering Inspection Service, the CEI as we call them for short, to oversight for the installation of the DMS. There was 2 firms that put in for it, American Engineering and F&J, and the TEC met and unanimously selected American as the top ranked firm. So there's no price involved in this. This is for a not to exceed amount of 1.44 million. So once, should it be approved, we'll go into negotiations with the firm to not exceed that amount. And that amount is based on an engineer's estimate due to the hours and the required services needed. And obviously the contract time was tied to the construction. So we typically give 90 days. So we'll do 30 days pre-construction for them to set up the project, document everything, and 60 days post-construction for them to wind down the project, put all the documents together, and turn in their final box.
Are there any questions?
Madam Chair, may I?
You're recognized.
Can you tell me what's the time period for the completion, or estimated time of completion for that project?
So the total contract time for the installation is 800 days. Now, most of it is actually not in construction because this is a design build, so they'll be designing, coordinating. Most of it, to be honest with you, is going to be coordination with FDOT. Most of these signs are not going to be within GMX right away, so it's going to require coordination with utilities and with FDOT to make sure that they get selected in the right locations.
So if I understand correctly, these new signing boards will be up, in less than 3 years?
So it depends on how the design goes. I don't think it'll be all design and then installation. I think it's going to be it's fluid, right? So as they get approval in certain sites, we can start doing foundations, and then the ordering of the uprights. Those structures usually take quite a long time for manufacturing. But as the first thing we're going to do is coordinate all utilities, make sure we find a suitable location, then meet with FDOT or whatever agency is where the sign is going to. And then once we have approval for that site, get all our permits in place and start installation. So,
And how many signs are involved? I know that there's 3 different roads, but how many signs per road or in total?
don't quote me on this. I want to say 8 on the art. No, I want to say 11 total, and that plus the ones on 836, which are already there. We're just replacing the actual DMS for the new color signs. Those will most likely be the first ones because those don't really need extensive design or coordination because we're just replacing the actual sign.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any final discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Nay. Motion passes. Mr. Garcia, please introduce item C on a regular agenda.
Yes, item C on our agenda today is for GMX procurement contract number RFQ 25-04, Project Development Environmental Study, PD&E, for the partial interchange at State Road 112 and Northwest 37th Avenue. Staff is requesting the board's approval of the Technical Evaluation Committee's recommendation to select and enter into a contract with the highest ranked proposer, Metric Engineering, Inc. On June 2nd, 2025, GMX released Request for Qualifications RFQ 25-04, seeking proposals from qualified firms to provide professional project development environmental services. The scope of work includes conducting a PD&E study for the partial interchange located at State Road 112 and Northwest 37th Avenue. On July 16th, 2025, 3 proposals were received in response to this RFQ. Mr. Diaferia, please provide the board with additional background information.
So this project was screened as requiring a PD&E, project development environmental study, And this is for, I have actually, well, I haven't been changing them. I have on the screen the project location. So this is for the study of the project that we're contemplating on State Road 112 and Northwest 37th Avenue. This would be to provide, the concept is to provide an on-ramp going eastbound and an off-ramp going westbound. So 3 proposals were received: Consor North America, Kimley Horn and Associates, and Metric Engineering. There was 3 TRC members, 2 from GMX, 1 from FDOT, and the cardinal order for all 3 TC's members were the same. So all 3 members selected Metric as the top ranked firm based on their proposal. And this would be to award a contract to a not exceed amount of $2 million. Again, this is similar to the CI. We'll go into negotiations based on the efforts required for this project, provided that the board approves this item. This is going to be very beneficial because this is a major project, I think, in coordination with the future 112 as well, improvements. And it's also, we think, is going to provide a relief with the MFP coming online shortly.
Are there any questions on the item?
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Board Member Kaincio, you're recognized.
What about the improvements we're going to do on the 112 and 36, which is a major bottleneck? We haven't voted on that yet.
No, we actually had a very good meeting with FDOT recently regarding what is called as the Iron Triangle, right? And there's several alternatives that were proposed on the table. That is actually still going to go off for public comment pretty soon. Are going to participate. We've offered our staff to participate with DOT to help in that effort because that's definitely a critical project for us. There are some concepts that are being proposed. One which is a flyover over Lejeune, basically extending 836. I'm sorry, State Road 112 onto 36th Street. That's one of the alternatives, but the final alternative has not been selected. There's other alternatives also presented, so we need to go through that process, but we're in full support of the project. And then once an alternative gets selected, then we'll discuss with DOT who's going to take on the job, etc. The DOT study, they did their P&E on the Iron Triangle, took into account this. They know that we're doing this, so we're coordinating with them. So this is all part of that master plan there.
Because it's so close, shouldn't that be done at the same time?
It's going to provide more relief to the area, right? Because now you're going to provide another release valve for folks to get off on the westbound direction and then get on in the eastbound direction.
Board Member Iglesias.
Yeah, so thank you for that, Madam Chair. Just to add to what Claudio was saying, we do have a PD&E study in the area where Lejeune, 36th Street, Okeechobee Road, and 112 all intersect. We have been coordinating with GMX on that improvement, and we've also been coordinating with this potential PD&E study as well. We think this is going to be a complementary improvement to the Iron Triangle project that will alleviate congestion in this area, which is very congested and obviously in need. So I think from a coordination standpoint, the 2 projects do need to be closely coordinated. But as Claudio mentioned, we've already been touching base with GMX staff. And as they move forward with this contract, we expect the same as that project moves forward as well. I'll also say, in looking at the technical evaluation scores, this is something that we look at in DOT as well. There's a pretty good point spread, about 6 points or so between the score for Metric and the second highest firm that was evaluated. So that's a pretty solid indication that the TEC felt strongly about Metric's capabilities as the #1 firm. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have another
Go
question.
ahead.
Madam
You're
Chair.
recognized.
And what is the time that we think for completion of this project and the future project for Lejeune and 36th Street?
So this particular PD&E is slated for 18 months. So the idea is that towards around the 15-month mark, we'll have our procurement documents set for the design. So it would be a seamless transition into design after as soon as the 18 months are done now. But then hopefully we can get it done earlier because frankly this PD&E is more of an operational PD&E. Some the traditional ones, there's a lot of environmental and social economic studies. Since the highway's already there, this is more of an operational PD&E. So there's room for efficiency that we may be able to bring it in earlier than the 18 months.
Thank you.
Just as a follow-up.
Board Member Pages, you're recognized.
Thank you. I know we're coordinating. Now, the coordinating is in plan and design. Is there coordination in the construction? Are we going to build one prior to the other one, or Our
So the
construction going-
likelihood is that this, because the PD&E for the Iron Triangle that FDOT is doing,
Yes,
that one's not funded right now by DOT.
Got it.
Nor by us. That's going to be a discussion we're going to have once the PD&E is concluded. This one will most likely come first. As I said, towards the 15-month mark, we're already going into the next phase because this one is funded in our work program.
so you could see construction in the area for years, ongoing for years.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
and
very
that-
needed. This one is not going to be that impactful because we already own the right of way south of 112 in that area. So the impacts really won't be felt much by traffic because we're going to be building off the traffic. It's really once we connect to 37th. The largest impact this project will most likely have is that there's 11 homes on the north side of 112 that will be impacted, and we'll go through the study and determine the feasibility of it. But should the project move forward, most likely there's going to be some eminent domain involved in that process.
Okay. Thank
Any
you.
follow-up questions? Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Second.
Any final discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mr. Garcia, please introduce item D on a regular agenda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item D today is GMX procurement contract number RFQ 25-08. That's for design engineering services for the widening of eastbound State Road 836 from State Road 821 Heft to east of Northwest 97th Avenue and the widening of westbound State Route 836 from west of the Heft to northwest 87th Avenue. GMX staff is seeking board approval of the Technical Evaluation Committee's recommendation to select and enter into contract with the highest ranked proposer, BCC Engineering, Inc. On June 13th of 2025, GMX released a request for qualifications seeking proposals from qualified firms to provide design engineering services for the widening of eastbound 836. On August 7th, 2025, 5 proposals were received. Mr. Diaferia, would you please provide additional background?
Yes. So up on the screen, I have an image of where this project is located. So we are very happy to receive 5 proposals for this RFQ. We had Atkins Reales, BCC Engineering, CHA Consulting, HPC, and WSP. So this is for the design services for the widening of 836 between what we call Section 5, which is where the interchange between Palmetto and 836 is, and the recently completed GMX project 83634, which is at the Turnpike. So basically, this is to widen the bottleneck that we currently have. There's significant congestion in the afternoon westbound direction, and there's a lane balancing issue with the on-ramp of 107th going eastbound, which we need to correct as well. We have plenty of right-of-way, so we will be doing all of the widening within GMX right-of-way. In fact, it'll be widened to the inside, so we don't affect the tolling gantry at that location. So that coordination is very critical for us. So this is the design services. For that widening, I have it there on the map. The TEC was a brand new TEC, consisted of 2 GMX members and 1 FDOT member. And again, the cardinal order for this selection was again unanimous, and all 3 members selected BCC as the #1 ranked firm. And this is again to enter into a negotiation with the firm not to exceed $3.8 million, which is the updated estimate from the last time around that this was presented in front of the board.
Are there any questions? Board
Madam
Member
Chair.
Cancio, you're recognized.
So we already looked at this project and a few months ago, and the highest ranked proposer remains BCC. I know that the board had an issue with the increase a few months ago. I've been brief on this, and I understand that even the scope has been expanded a little bit more, but the price, it's pretty much consistent with what they had estimated the last time. I'm comfortable with continuing with this after these explanations, but I just wanted you to explain to the board.
So last time around, this is the second go around at this particular RFQ. The first time around, there was an issue with the engineer's estimate. I think what happened last time was we used an old engineer's estimate. When I say old, it was probably a year old by the time we presented it to the board. And as you all know, during the spikes of construction costs, it was really lagging behind. Once we updated those numbers, and then we also took a look at the what we use as estimates, because everything is based on a construction estimate, and then we base our design, preliminary engineering, etc. All the construction, everything is based on the construction estimate. We had several meetings with FDOT, and we updated our estimating manual to match what DOT is looking at. In this particular case, we did update the estimate, and this proposal is roughly 10%, 10.5% based on the construction cost, which is actually on the low side. Actually, in conversation with Board Member Iglesias, typically this would be more or closer to the 15% mark. So we're very comfortable moving forward with this price. And yes, BCC is the highest ranked proposer once again. But I will like to point out that this was a completely different TEC. And again, they were selected number one. I was part of the TEC. I will say that they did a better job than they did last time, because I think all the teams knew it. And so I do think that they did have the best proposal.
Are there any other questions? Board Member Pages, you're recognized.
Following up on can you provide some color on why BCE?
BCC engineering?
Yeah, was chosen.
So in this particular case, I think what I look for in a TC, and I think the other members did in this case, is we don't want firms to just kind of regurgitate the scope to us, right? BCC particular in this case did a really good job of identifying challenges that will be presented with this project and how to overcome them. They were the ones that really showed the most amount of research and homework out in the field and how to resolve issues. Aside from the fact that they've done similar projects in this vicinity, they were, for example, one of the designers of the 107th Avenue Bridge. So these are all things that play into this. And from an innovative standpoint, they provide a lot of innovation, showing that they really understood the project and understood the challenges there. They did also identify very keenly the coordination with the tolls and making sure that we're not impacting the tolls in any way, shape, or form during this project.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any final discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passes. All right, we're on item E. Mr. Garcia, you're up.
Thank you. Moving on to item E. On the agenda today is a GMX procurement contract number ITB 26-08, system-wide structural maintenance services. The item requires board approval for contract award to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, P&P Contracting. On August 21st, 2025, GMX released an invitation to bid for qualified contractors to provide system-wide structural maintenance services. The scope of work consists of miscellaneous structural maintenance and repair activities on bridges and signed structures. On September the 23rd, 2025, 4 bids were received in response to this ITB, and Mr. Diaferia will again provide us with additional background on this item.
So as you're aware, we perform biannual inspections on all of our sign structures and our structures, our bridges. And as part of those inspections, a list gets generated of all the preventive maintenance, or any required structural repairs that need. Aside from any emergency repairs that may be needed should a bridge get hit or anything like that. This contract basically takes care of all those system-wide structural maintenance services. Was just said, there was 4 bids that were received, and the lowest bid, which is an ITB, which was PMP Contracting. They are also the incumbent. So this bid came in at 36% below the engineer's estimate. The engineer's estimate was at 5.4 million, and the lowest bid which they submitted was 3.48 million. This is for a 4-year contract with 2 potential 1-year extensions, and it has a 15% small business participation on it. We're comfortable moving forward. We did reach back out to them and confirm that they are able to perform the work as they bid it. I think that being the incumbent, they understand some of the efficiencies that they can have, specifically on lane closures, because they can group work together and they can have some savings that way. Plus, they know the work intimately because they've been doing the job now. I will say that their contractor performance rating that I currently have is very good, so we have no concern moving forward with them.
Are there any questions? Board Member Cancio, you recognized.
It's music to my ears to know that it also came under by over $1 million. I just love all the savings, so I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
I have a quick question, if I could.
Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah,
Reynolds.
I'm interested to know why would and just if you have an impression on it, but why would Southern Road and Bridge ask twice the amount of what was estimated?
So many times when companies are not local or they're not familiar with government work, sometimes they kind of throw a bid in with some contingency, right? Because they don't. It's an unknown. So we see it quite often. Obviously, the incumbent has some sort of leg up because they know intimately what the work entails, so they know where they can really kind of sharpen their pencils and where they can't. When you're coming into it new, you have to have some contingency into it.
So this isn't a hidden cost that we might discover
No.
down the road.
No. So on every bid that gets presented to the board, we do a bid analysis, and I can share that with you all. And we go item by item, and we compare every single unit cost. And then the ones that are under by a significant margin, that's why we go back to the contractor and say, hey, you bid this significantly under what the engineer's estimate, which is based on a statewide average. Are you certain that you can perform the work for what you bid it? And in this case, they responded yes. So they'll be held. So there's no renegotiating of contracts. I want to be clear. There's no renegotiating of items. Once the contract gets awarded, they will have to own the price that they submitted in the bid.
Any other questions? Board Member Pages, you're recognized.
Forgive me, because now if you've opened a question here. Who is estimating these projects?
We do through GC and through GMX. We do it based on statewide averages, and if there's no item, then we do other research to come up with the item. So the DOT keeps a rolling average in District 13,
Right.
which is locally here in Miami-Dade County, and so they basically compile all the historical bids that they've received for that pay item, and they do an average. So it's a good basis for you to do an estimate on.
Right. Because we've been off now a little bit from.
Well, it's not that we've been off. It's just the average is DOT is having the same problem. We're chasing older prices, right? Yeah. But we are seeing some sort of stabilization now.
Yeah, if I
Board
may.
Member Iglesias, you're
So
recognized.
we're to Claudio's point. I think we're seeing maybe an overcorrection. We've been trying to chase the curve when it comes to material prices and some of the increases we've been seeing in our market. And what's been happening is that we're adjusting our unit prices accordingly based on what we think we've been seeing, but that seems to be leveling off now. And so as we've been chasing that curve, we now need to kind of course correct as well. So I think to Claudio's point, we might all be a little bit too high, and so I think we just need to be able to see what continues to happen and then correct.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second? Okay. Any final discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passes. Lastly, on the regular agenda, Mr. Garcia, item F.
Yes, Madam Chair, item F on today's agenda is the approval of fiscal year 2025 disposal of fixed assets. As part of the year-end process, the agency's general engineering consultant is required to review and recommend fixed assets in construction in progress that meet the criteria of impairment guidelines and/or disposal of assets. Our CFO will provide you with further information on this item. Ms. Bridgman?
Board members, as part of the year-end process, that's something that's required to do to ensure that we distribute the value of our assets. And when there's an impairment or a disposal, we rely on the GEC to provide us documentation of why they should be disposed of. For this year, we have two items that need to be considered for impairment or disposal. One is from project 454, and this is for State Route 874, 878 ramp improvements. Subsequently, when we started this, after our PD&E management and some engineering costs, the study concluded that it is not going to be as we thought. As a matter of fact, it's not going to bring the benefits, and it's going to have very negative ramifications on Kendall Drive. As a result of this, this project was recommended to be abandoned. And we do it from time to time when we go to those studies, and this is one of them. And the total cost, including indirect costs related to this project that we spent so far, was $187,000. The next item is for right here in our server room. We had a roof leak, and we had several equipment there in the amount of book value, $94,000, because they were there for an extended period of time. And we recovered some insurance claim money, and we replaced them. So those are the items that we disposed of, and we replaced with better servers, and that's going to last us longer. So those two are good justifications enough to remove them off our books and to dispose of them and add in the replacement. The next item is one from project 83634. Part of this project required us to have the signalization from the ramp, and we do not maintain signals, and those improvements were constructed and permitted on the county's, Miami-Dade County's right-of-way. As a result, we want to transfer the portion of those costs to the county so they could maintain those signals. The total amount of money that we spent on it is approximately $943,000. It's for hard costs, mobilization, design fees, and other cost allocation, indirect cost allocation. So it's not good for us to keep something in our books that we're not gonna maintain, that we're not gonna take care of, and so that's why we move them, we transfer them, and we call them contributory assets.
Are there any questions? All right, is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Is there a second? Any final discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. Motion passes. All right, that's the end of our regular agenda. So now I will recognize Mr. Garcia again to present the executive director's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And before we get to the happy picture on the screen here, I'd like to start off with another piece of sort of following up on an older item that's also a piece of good news. And I'd just like to report back to the board that the monies that were owed by Miami-Dade County to GMX have in large part been received and deposited. There was the contribution of the $8.2 million and then the 4.9 and change for the Heft ramp and for 836-34. Those funds have been paid now to GMX. And I know that we have tied that into the real estate closings for the sale of parcels to Miami-Dade Airport Department. So along those lines too, we have closed. We closed on Friday on several of those parcels to Miami-Dade Aviation. There's one parcel remaining that should be coming up soon, and just waiting for some paperwork from FDOT on that, and we should be able to move on. But I just want to let you, the board, know that we have received that money back from the county.
Board Member Pages, you're recognized.
I appreciate that. This is a major win. I really appreciate the way the agency handled this, the staff handled this. Very mature, very straightforward. I would have sued much earlier, but you guys obviously knew what you guys were doing and were very clear. It is an absolute win to recover that kind of money and recover what is owed to us. And I think that sets us in a great path. Now, there is a missing property, right? That hasn't. How large is that one?
That one is about 3.1, 3.2, Claudio?
No, I think it's just shy of 5 acres. It's parcel 169 A and B. And everything is negotiated, everything is done. There was only a small issue at the end with the title company, regarding, it's just basically they wanted it clear from FDOT to make sure that DOT doesn't have any interest in the
So
property.
what's the price on that?
I want to say 16.1 million.
16.
16.
16.1. Wow. I still
16.1
remember.
and 17, we're looking at 33 on, because the 16's not here.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's 33 plus 13, that's a
That's
large
correct.
amount of money.
And this is money that
over
was
$50
not,
million.
we didn't account for it in our
Yeah,
financials,
that's over $50 million.
right? So this is
That goes a
cherry on top.
long way, that goes a long way to doing a lot of the stuff that we want to do over the next
it'll be
couple
very
years.
beneficial once we redo our work program and our refinancing during this year. So yes.
So thank you, appreciate that, thank you.
And board member pages, there was one more item from the county that's still pending. That's the Miami-Dade water and sewer, WASA.
That's something that it'll play its natural course. We are already scheduling meetings with them. It's going to be part of the project. We think we have all the documentation necessary in order to get reimbursed. So it's just part of normal course of construction that will recuperate that money.
Do we have a general time frame on that? Because par for the course for the county is, who knows?
I'd be lying to you if I can tell you exactly the, because we're going to require some sort of ILA, interlocal agreement with them, or some sort of modification to the current ILA that DOT has with them. And it would have to go in front of the BCC. It'll go through both legal, our legal and their legal, to get that agreement in place once we settle the amount. So there's still ways to go before we see that money.
Fair. No, you still-
So, Madam Chair, since our last board meeting, GMX had the opportunity to participate in the quarterly meeting of the Florida Transportation Commission, and just last week at the annual IBTTA conference in Denver. That's the International Bridge, Tunnel, and Turnpike Association. It's a bit of a mouthful. But as far as the FTC, the Florida Transportation Commission convened its quarterly meeting in August, shortly after our last board meeting in Auburndale, and that was at the Suntrax FDOT testing facility. And the purpose of the meeting was to review statewide transportation policy matters, to receive presentations from Florida's Expressway and tolling authorities, and to consider the annual Transportation Authority Oversight Report. The FTC heard presentations from our agency, GMX, the Central Florida Expressway Authority, Florida's Turnpike Enterprise, the Mid-Bay Bridge Authority, and the Tampa Hillsborough Expressway Authority. Each agency summarized financial performance, capital programs, governance practices, and compliance with statutory oversight criteria. Our presentation reflected the agency's strong operational performance in alignment with statewide priorities for innovation, accountability, and for public service. We reported on our effective toll collection and our ongoing organizational improvements since the reestablishment of this agency. Highlights included GMX maintaining a toll collection rate above 95%, continued progress toward modernization of toll systems, and completion of key maintenance projects, ensuring our system's reliability. Our agency welcomed the opportunity to participate in the FTC meeting as the oversight process reinforces GMX's transparency and accountability to state leadership and to the general public. And now to the picture on the screen. This was last week. We had the opportunity to attend the 93rd annual IBTTA meeting in Denver. This meeting convened state transportation and tolling professionals from our sister agencies in Florida, the US, and Europe to discuss innovation, technology integration, customer engagement, and the evolving role of user-financed infrastructure. The event included plenary sessions, technical workshops, exhibits, and committee meetings addressing industry-wide priorities. The IBTTA annual meeting reaffirmed the industry's commitment to innovation, to customer focus, and operational excellence. GMX remains well-positioned to align with these trends as we continue advancing our mission to deliver safe, efficient, and sustainable mobility for South Florida. And that's what I have for the board.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Board member Cantu, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. No, I think it's great that y'all went, and I can see the mountains in the back. That's wonderful. I was wondering if this is the right time to ask our CFO to give us an update?
Sure.
Do we have to approve the executive director's report? Or,
You can just accept it, yeah.
Yeah, just.
okay. So may I ask our CFO for an update and very positive-looking preliminary financial summary that I'm very excited to see all these numbers. I don't know if everybody has a copy of the, okay.
So, as you indicated, this is very good. So when you're looking at the trends, for example, of all the transactions that we've done throughout the year, and everything is on the uptick and everything is positive. It is preliminary because our auditors are still here and they have not yet opined on fiscal year 25. But from the looks of everything that we have, this is a really, really good report. And it shows steady and robust financial trends. And it shows that we are still up and operational at a very highest level. Our revenues are steady, our expenses are down, our net revenue is higher. So everywhere you look at, it's good stuff. And the debt, we already know how much we have to pay every year. It's there already, the schedules are there, and we are meeting our requirements.
And just that I wanted to point out that the debt to operating revenue in 2021 was 6.68, and now it's 4.44. So the debt to operating revenue decreased substantially. That's, 33% or?
So it's a cyclical type thing because when you look at the debt itself and how it behaves, it's not a linear thing. It goes up and down and it's expected until 4044. So we have it mapped out like that.
But it's gonna go down. But it's going
It will go in, yeah, it will go down.
Board member pages, or you done follow-ups?
Done. Thank
Board
you.
member pages.
Can you provide a little bit of a summary on where we are as far as the advisor, the steps we're taking, and what the timetable is on that process?
So since we onboarded PFM, we have met several times to actually talk about the options and things that we need to do. So we know more or less that we need to go and refund by April. That would be the best case scenario, provided the market holds the way it does. But there are several things that we must do in order to get there, and we're working diligently to get them. One of them is the transfer agreement with FDOT. So that one, we have to make sure that we get it going and we get a good one. And we're currently working on it, and we are meeting today. The financial advisor already provided a timeline. It's pretty aggressive, I may ask. It's very aggressive, but the intent is to mirror that timeline and do as much as we can in order to make the refunding mark that we want to get to in April. So if you look at the schedule itself, I didn't share it with you, it's pretty lengthy and it's pretty aggressive. So we're meeting on it on each step to find out how doable they really are in order to accomplish what we want to accomplish. But it's a lot of work. I would be lying if I told you it was just going to be 1, 2, 3.
All right, obviously fully supportive of the aggressive timetable because we have a lot to do and a lot of things within the process. I also want to make sure and encourage that this, treasurer and the board are, since it's an aggressive timetable and since it's a critical part of it, that we're kept very much abreast of what's going on.
Will do.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? All right, next on the agenda are informational items. No board action is required. The only item this month is a GMX procurement report, which is that,
It's attached. It's attached. It's in the.
it's in there.
Yeah, it's in the package.
All right. Are there any questions or discussions from the board? All right. Lastly, announcements. The next governing board meeting will take place on December 11th, 2025 at 9 a.m. In addition, GMX will also conduct 2 project workshops to review some of the agency's major projects. The workshops will take place here at the GMX headquarters, December 1st at 9 a.m. and on January 12th, 2026, also at 9 a.m. Board members, are there any other questions, announcements, staff direction, final comments before we adjourn? Board member Pages, you're recognized.
I hate to do this I hate to do this at the very end, but can we get a brief update on the Freedom Park? You know I was going to ask.
Who's dying to do it?
I'm dying to do.
I'm going to point to Claudio and have him report back.
So we've made good progress. We actually sent in the comments on Friday, and we're going to reiterate some of these more important comments to be in line with DOT, because basically right now the focus is on finishing the model and making sure the model is represented accordingly. There's also going to be a follow-up meeting regarding the pedestrian bridge in the next week. So we'll have an update for the board at the upcoming meeting regarding what's going to happen with that. But in terms of the traffic, we have provided all of our comments actually ahead of schedule of when we're required to do so. So again, really it's just going through the process of the engineering of identifying the critical areas. We've already indicated things that we are not going to allow and what we would suggest they should look at. And so they're currently evaluating those options.
Any additional comments? Board
I'll
member
just
Iglesias, you're
ask.
recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I've asked GMX to prioritize, as Claudio mentioned, the model-centric comments. We did the same thing in an effort to try to get to the point where we have a conclusive model that shows what the traffic impacts are. We're still not quite there yet. DOT on our side has about 13 of those model-centric comments that still need to be evaluated. So we're trying to kind of move everything out that's secondary in nature to the deliverable and focusing on just what the results are so that we can start talking traffic mitigation. So we're still not quite there yet. We hope to be there very soon. I think we're looking at maybe a 1 to 2 week time frame for them to turn that around to us. Hopefully it's a quick back check, and then we're able, at least on DOT side, to confirm what the results of the model are, good or bad. And then we hope that GMX and Miami-Dade County are very close in step with us so that we can then have a multi-agency discussion on what the next steps are for mitigation.
Any additional comments? Hearing no additional. Board member Cancio.
Well, since we're in the update, I had question or asked Claudio prior to the meeting also an update on the double decker and the Signature Bridge, because every day that we drive by that area, it's something that we have to, that's our responsibility, that's our project, and I had asked him for an update, and I don't know if you want to share with us, Claudio, what you told me before.
Yeah.
Claudia,
Maybe
you're
I
on
should
the
bring
hot
our new
seat.
chief engineer up. So that the good thing is that we're pretty much done with all the engineering challenges. There were significant engineering challenges that we had to overcome through the life of the job, specifically on the viaduct. I think at this point, all the technical challenges are done. It's just about actual construction. Obviously, it's a challenge. I think the contractor has had some recent issues with the gantry that they use to bring up all the beams and all the caps. But we are moving. Hopefully, once we get into that tangent section and it's straight, we'll have less issues with that gantry, and then it's going to be more of a systematic approach of just flying beams and flying caps and moving forward. Again, as I mentioned, I think the issue we have as well is that the viaduct can be done tomorrow, but it has to tie into the Signature Bridge. So if that connection is not made, I think it's a coordinated effort with DOT, because there's no reason for them to accelerate tremendously our side and it leads to nowhere, right? It has to be in sync with the DOT side, because ultimately it ties into the Signature Bridge. But I can tell you there's a large group of people working really hard to finish that project as fast as we can.
If I
Board
may.
member Rico.
Yeah, and I also want to just thank Claudio and Andres and the team for providing us with the tour. from at the port. The port's very grateful for the time that you guys put in helping us understand the timeline, the cost structure, and all the challenges that you guys have, and we really appreciate that as well. Just want to make a point.
Any additional comments, board member?
Final, is there an update on the two pending board members and their swearing in?
No updates since the last time. I know that we heard, obviously informally through Miami-Dade County, that the appointments had been made, but we still have not received the official documentation from the county to GMX. We've been checking periodically, but we're still waiting on the county.
Any additional comments? I adjourn this meeting at 9:55 a.m. Thank you, board members. This meeting is adjourned.